So I post a lot of videos relating to Korea or Korean culture, as a lot of you guys probably are exposed to those audience as well. And there's a thing called Koreaboos, and you could probably find them online, whether Twitter, whether YouTube, TikTok, anywhere. Today, I want to have a discussion with you guys on what makes someone a Koreaboo. Before I even start the story, can I preface this? I actually never thought and still don't think liking Korean culture is what makes you Koreaboo. That's the whole reason why I decided to even make this video. I don't think anyone should be hated for the fact that you enjoy Korean culture or Korean music. So I want to make sure we are clear on what makes you someone who respect and enjoys something from Korea versus a Koreaboo, and it makes people sort of frown. Yes. So let's get straight into it. I prepared 10 things. By the way, most of this is online, but also in real life as well. But I think mostly the environment I'm talking about is online. Number 1, when you're not Korean and you lie that you are Korean. That is the number 1 thing that makes you a Koreaboo. And I'm talking about nationality or ethnicity. So as Korean culture become popular, there's a lot of admiration. People want to enjoy, and then it sometimes goes to the fact that people wish, I wish I was Korean, which I feel like that feeling is totally valid. You know, whenever I talk about any of these Koreaboo stuff, I love Japan, so I could totally understand what other people comes from when they have those kind of feeling. And hear me out, even a partial lie is a lie. As in, whether you claim you're fully Korean or whether you claim you're 5% Korean, it's still a lie. And what I'm saying is, you don't need to lie about this for you to enjoy Korean culture. Especially as Korean, I actually feel like non-Korean enjoying Korean culture is more unique and interesting because Korean people already enjoy Korean culture. You see what I mean? Then it doesn't make you that special in my opinion. Adding on to this, you know what I think that I see quite often is when it comes to Korean names. Hear me out. You know how there's a lot of people online who has Korean name that they weren't born with? I was born in Korea, but then I also had an English name for a while. I used to be Sean. Some people might not know this. S-E-A-N. I used to be Sean. Because when I lived in America, I thought I might need to use an English name. Eventually, I got rid of that name and I only used my real name, Hyosang. But when you travel to different countries, when you learn different countries' culture, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a Korean name. For example, when I was in high school, I had a friend who enjoyed Korean culture and he was learning Korean. So I gave him his Korean name based off of his English name. And later, now he lives in Korea and he's about to take the Korean citizenship exam. So there's no issue with you having a Korean name or Korean nickname, you coming up with one. There's no issue. I'm not saying you having Korean name is wrong. Some people might be like, it's cringe. But hear me out. There's a difference between cringe and wrong. You might find it cringe, but I think it's fine. You know, 10 years ago, almost so many of the weaves used to have, even now, a Japanese name when they're not Japanese. It's fine. It's just fun, you know, like who's gonna find it illegal if you do that? Now, the issue is if you use Korean name and say you're Korean when you're not. Do you guys see where the issue is? So you could have Korean nickname, but just don't lie. Just don't lie and say, oh, I'm from Korea, or oh, I'm Korean and this is my Korean name. So just say, oh, I was born with this name, like my original name is Sydney, but I decided to give myself a Korean name because I want to have a Korean nickname as well. Like, sure. It is not the first time online someone decided to use a name that is not their native language's name. In Korea, what do League of Legends player name themselves? The nickname is English. You know, like same thing in a lot of the anime world, a lot of Korean producers use Japanese names. I don't think there's an issue with nicknames. That's just my personal opinion. Some people might find it like, I think it's still cringe. You know, that's more of a personal preference. Yes. And okay, articulating a little bit further. If you do want to be Korean, then you have to actually try to apply for visa or try to apply for permanent residency in Korea. Once you do that, then no one will question you in terms of real Korean. As in, some people might be like, oh, you're white. How are you Korean? Then you show them your permanent residency, then everybody would accept. In fact, in Korea, we do actually claim people, oh, like you're real Korean if you are able to speak language well and you have the legal documents. I'm telling you. So just don't lie about it, okay? Just don't lie. Or whether you're black or any other race, yes. All right. Number 2. What makes you a Koreaboo? Number 2 is when you try to force a K-pop talk to a person who's not into or interested in K-pop, that is a Koreaboo behavior. I told you at the beginning, there's no issue with you liking Korean culture. That's totally fine. You know what I think makes something annoying? It's not the fact that you like Korean culture, it's the fact that you can't read the room. It's the lack of social skills. And on top of that lack of social skill, it's covered by this topic of K-pop. And that's why you get that label of a Koreaboo. Let's say, for example, you go to BTS concert. You're waiting in the line for BTS concert. You turn around and you say, oh my gosh, who's your bias? Have you listened to the new single? Blah, blah, blah. What's your favorite choreography? Everyone's happy there, right? Do you guys agree? Now, you go to school, middle of a social study class. You're learning about Civil War, right? And then you turn behind to your friend who doesn't listen to Korean music. And then you go like, do you know Yoongi? You should listen to Yoongi. And then the teacher's like, hey, who's talking there? It's the middle of a class, no chit-chatting. Please follow Yoongi's Instagram so he reaches 100k million, like blah, blah, blah. Like, it's the context. Do you see what the issue is? It's like, you could literally say the same thing, but depending on where you say it, here's the thing. You're a proud fan. I'm sure you're doing great by promoting. It's great. But then, like, right time and right place. Because if you do it at the wrong time, you're actually tainting your favorite bias's name. You see where I'm coming from? And not just in classroom, even at lunch table. Okay, like, read room, as in, if you're surrounded by people, if your friends also enjoy Korean music, or the topic is Stray Kids, then you're like, oh, like, have you guys heard the new song from the Karma album, blah, blah, blah. Totally fine, right? But okay, imagine your friends like, oh, yesterday I went to grocery store with my mom. Oh, like, have you checked out the new Trader Joe's bag? Blah, blah, blah. Ah, did you know Hyunjin got a new bag? Hyunjin. And then people are like, what are you talking about? We were talking about Trader Joe's right now. Like, Hyunjin's dance. And then, like, the context. Like, do you see where I'm coming from? You have to fit the context. And then, you know what happens? Those people will get side-eyed, right? People aren't even that mean to directly say it. People are like, why is this girl all of a sudden talking about Stray Kids when we're talking about Trader Joe's? And eventually their friends will be like, I don't really want to eat lunch with you. Like, you're I don't know, like, can we not? And then you come online, you come to my stream and be like, people hate me whenever I try to talk about Stray Kids. Do you see where I'm coming from? Do you see? Obviously, bullying is bad, but you can't call this bullying. You bullied other people by interrupting a conversation. You see what I'm saying? You can't play victim if you're the one who broke the flow of the conversation. Even in my stream, like, we had this talk yesterday, when we were having a content of 80s and you talk about 80s, have you ever seen me get mad? No, like, we literally have planned for San content, we literally have planned for Stray Kids content this week and hyphen content. Now, I'm talking about melons, bananas. And then you're like, who's your bias in Stray Kids? Like, you just, out of nowhere. Okay, I understand my channel, I upload a lot of K-pop videos. But then if you just like come out of nowhere, and then please listen to, you know, BTS's new song. You know the funny part? I already did. Like, can you react to this? Can you listen to this? I already did. Like, I already even have a video on my channel. So it's just context, okay? Context. Even to your boyfriend, girlfriend, I don't know if you guys have a boyfriend, girlfriend, and if you do, I don't know if they also enjoy the same thing or not. Ideally, it's best if you do enjoy. But then, you know, imagine you have a boyfriend, and your boyfriend is not into K-pop too much, but then they like you, you know, they like you as a person. But then every time you talk to your boyfriend, if you kind of go like, oh my gosh, San's muscle, like, San is so handsome, San's muscle, then it's not an issue of K-pop, it's not an issue of Korean culture talk, it's more so of the boyfriend. Like, how would the boyfriend feel? You know, not even like a context issue, it's like a feelings issue. You see what I mean? Okay, no, I do talk about San's muscle, but then I usually talk about it when he is showing them. Like, you know, sounds like you. I is when we do the content, right? Go date San instead. Well, it's not like everyone could date San, but you get the idea. So again, you're not wrong for speaking about it. Just make sure who you're talking to and when you're talking to. Another thing is, here's another issue. Let me articulate just a little bit further. Sometimes it's not even about direction or the timing. Everything could be correct, but you sometimes have to let other people speak. As in, let's say you're hanging out with your friends and they all enjoy K-pop, and you are talking about, let's say, NCT Wish. If you all of a sudden go crazy and then non-stop yapping and interrupting everyone's talk, again, is the issue here NCT Wish? Is the issue here enjoying Korean culture? No, the issue here is speaking without appreciating other people around you. You know, interrupting conversation. Like, you see what I mean? Yes. So I call that Koreaboo, not because you like Korean culture. Number 3. Now this is Koreaboo, not just K-pop boo, so it extends to the Korean as a country. When you see any false information online about Korea and you straight up believe it, and then you continue to spread those, that is a Koreaboo behavior. Okay, now when we're talking about false information, it could be about good thing about Korea or bad thing about Korea. But do you guys agree? In the day we live in the world right now, there's so many wrong information. Internet is literally filled with misinformation, and it's usually what catches people's eyes the most. I'm sure you guys know this, but there are so many false information about Korea as a country or Korean people, especially in the negative direction, that is out on the internet. There's so many lies. It's just straight up not true. But then people want to believe that. Why? Because they love Korea so much or they hate Korea so much. That issue. You can't fall for those channels, guys. If you see something on Twitter, if you see something on Instagram, that doesn't mean it's true. You see what I mean? Obviously, we don't have trustable source every single time. But then at least wait, like hold your judgment before you make the decision. Okay? Just hold for a little bit. It's like the same thing. This is not even like a Koreaboo because most Koreaboos are in the way of liking Korea. But are you guys aware? I feel like there's a lot of Koreaboos who actually hate Korea as a country, which is ironic. They like Korea and Korean music, but then they hate Korean people. Like, I swear there's a lot of people like this out there. And one of the reasons why they're like that is because they've been exposed to so many incorrect informations out there. They sort of cherry pick the wrong side of the Korean people and then they generalize to the whole. Like, for example, you know what's the most common thing that I see? All Korean girls have plastic surgery. All Korean guys have plastic surgery. All idols are plastic surgery. You guys agree? The all is just totally not true. It's just not. Like, you could literally just go there and know that it's not true. Well, there's a idea of high plastic surgery or common. But you know how common is different from all? But then if you really start to believe all, then people start to really think, oh, that Korean girl's pretty just because she has plastic surgery. You don't even like check. You just think, oh, all idols have plastic surgery. You see what I mean? So misinformation, or like, oh, if you go to Korea, apparently, like if you're non-Asian, they spit at your face. You know, like, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, they're so racist. Like, you go to Korea, you don't get as much attention as you might think. Yes. Oh, like apparently, and even like good things. Oh, apparently if you go to Korea, like every food is free. Like all the street vendors like give you food for 1 cent. Like, nah. Like whether true or false. Or like, oh, like apparently BTS member is like waiting at the airport. Like, you get the idea. So just check on the true and false information. Sometimes it's not even about Korean people or Korea music. Sometimes it's stuff like water. Like, oh, if you drink Korean tap water, you're gonna get acne. Guys, this is like conspiracy theory level. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, this is literally, you might be saying like, who is saying this? I swear I've seen several of this. Okay, maybe there are some people who do have trouble adjusting to Korea's water. But I guarantee you, Korea has one of the most safest water to drink in the world. And, you know, like you can't just say, oh, Korea's water, you're gonna get like acne, don't drink Korean water. Korea's tap water quality is one of the world's best. I guarantee you. At least if you come from America, like in comparison to America. Yes. Just don't believe too many things that are online. Because you're literally, guys, you know, you literally what see on online, it's like, you literally see the wildest information. Like, SZA is apparently having 2 kids with AT-san. Like, you know, like some like random information. Some literally the most random information. And the people are like, oh my gosh, I knew it. Like, Blasian babies. Like, I swear, there are so many misinformations out there. Sorry for the so many san talk. It's just that I'm so into him recently. Alright, number 4. Actually, this kind of overlaps, so let me skip this one. Using Korean words when you don't need to use that Korean word. I'm sure you guys could relate to this one a lot. So, you know how there are Korean phrases? Like, 대박, 진짜, 애교, 귀여워, 오빠. Here's the thing. If you enjoy certain culture, you start to pick up on that language. It's so fun to use it. Do you guys agree? I don't know if it's just me. This is not just about Korea. This is not just about Japan. When you learn a different language, you want to use that language so badly because you also want to kind of prove that you could use it. You also want to kind of prove that you're into that culture. Now, I can't really speak about this too strong because I do the same thing. I literally come on stream and sometimes I go like, そうですね。どうしてどうして I speak Japanese too. I'm a Japanese boo. But I try to not do this when I'm with people in public. You see what I mean? As in, you could do this with your friends. It's hilarious. Like, 진짜 대박! It's fun. But then, you're in the middle of AP literature class. And then you stand up. And then you say, this book's summary? The main character, Oppa, is not really 대박, in my opinion. His 애교 is not enough for me. Oh! You might think, Hyo-san, who does this? You'll be surprised. You'll be surprised that there are sometimes people who use this stuff in real life. And then, or the cuss word. The teacher's like, Hannah, take a seat. And then Hannah will be like, 씨발. I swear. Oh! Okay, I personally think the cute level is when you go to a Korean barbecue restaurant and then your server is Korean and then you know that he speaks Korean, then you saying like, 감사합니다. Like, that's cute. That's cute. Like, in my opinion, that stuff's cute. Or like, you eat Korean food with your friend and then you're like, 맛있어. Like, that's cute. Like, literally, let me just explain to you guys, as a Korean person, when a non-Korean person try to learn Korean culture and speak Korean words, it's cute. I see the effort. I think it's hilarious. I think it's cute. Like, you don't necessarily need to speak in perfect pronunciation. It's fine. It's literally, unless it's all about nuance. You know how there's a difference between when you travel to foreign country as an Asian person and they do ni hao versus when you go to somewhere and they ask you, are you Korean? And like, 안녕하세요. Like, you know how that has like a totally different nuance? It's about whether you actually know the culture. So I'm not saying it's wrong for you to use those words. It's just, again, same thing as earlier, context. Where are you saying these things? Okay? And also, to a lot of the Korean loving homies here, I also blurt out these Japanese words. I also know if I were to ever do this in front of a girl, it would be a major ick. So when you go out to meet a guy, okay, whether a Korean guy or non-Korean guy, any guys in general, and you are in front of your crush, don't go like, aren't I a little 귀여워? And then they're like, huh? What'd you say? Like 귀여워, like kawaii. Like, don't, okay? I think it could be cute once you're already dating and your boyfriend knows that you're, like a weirdo, cringe. Then you could just use it and they'll find it funny. I think it's fine. But you get the idea. You guys are saying, ew. I'm just demonstrating. I'm demonstrating. She says she's from Hawaii. Anyway. Alright. Number 5. Judging Korea or Korean culture based on your country's standard, in my opinion, is a bad Koreaboo behavior. This, I'll be honest, applies a little bit stronger to American audience. I feel like other countries, it's not as bad because other countries are a little bit more used to having other nationalities and communicating with them. But it was literally just 4th of July a day ago. For some reason, when it comes to American audience, they try to apply American standard to all the countries around the world, not just Korea, whether with Japan, whether with Europe. Now, I feel like there's a big culture gap between Korea and America, just any country in general. So some things that might seem norm here is not norm somewhere else. Here's the thing, guys. I'm not saying just because it's correct in Korea doesn't mean that is a correct thing. As in, sometimes in certain countries, some ethically incorrect things are normalized, and they just haven't reached that level on society for them to decide, oh, we shouldn't use this word, we shouldn't say these kind of things, we should change the way we speak. But at the same time, do you guys agree? Every country is in different state and different stage of different human movement. For example, there are things in America that are, in my opinion, I don't know why this is so allowed, but America is not so sensitive in comparison to other countries. So I think I see this most common whenever any Korean idol gets in a controversy. Obviously, because if you're from America, you're going to think from America's perspective, right? I'm not saying you shouldn't do that because that's your natural go-to, but you should also kind of think, like let me think. Maybe from Korean culture's background, maybe this is not as abnormal. Maybe there's a reason behind this. Maybe this word means a different context in that culture. So in order for you to avoid this, I think you actually need to grow a little bit of understanding / education about Korea. If you know more, then you'll be able to understand more. Do you guys agree? You're not wrong, but you stay judging America? I'm literally American lover. I don't know what you guys are talking about. I just got my green card. I love America. Woo! I only use pounds. I only use feet. But yes, so we just have to be a little bit careful. I literally made a whole video talking about how we should learn Korean culture if you want to understand Korean music completely. So yes. So don't try to, not just idols, even, you know how some things like eating culture? Like for example, this is not Korea, but you know how in countries in South Asia, like India, you eat with your hands? And some people look at that and see, barbaric, disgusting. I feel like you're not understanding their culture. Like just because you use a spoon, you can't look down on other culture for using hands or using other wraps and things like that. In my opinion, then what about you Americans who can't hold a chopstick? I can't hold chopstick. I use one of those baby chopsticks with the guidelines on it. And I was born in Korea, raised in Korea. And some of you guys could use chopstick when you're born in America. So I don't have any say in this. Yeah, I still use those baby chopsticks. So I have no right to chopstick shame. Koreaboo? Me? Me? That's crazy. But yes. Another thing, I'm giving a little bit of a detail. Noodle slurping? I always want to talk about this. In Western culture, a lot of the noodles are pasta. Do you guys agree? Most Western noodles are pasta. And pasta is not necessarily a slurping type of noodle. It's very thick in the sauce and usually roll it up and you could just put it in your mouth and chew it. But in Asia, you know how there's more slippery noodles like ramen noodles or somen noodles or soba noodles? There's so many different kind of noodles. And a lot of the difference comes from the fact that a lot of the Western noodles are made from wheat and Eastern noodles are made with rice. That also makes a difference in the length and the thickness of the noodle. Like if you start to think about and study this, there's so many interesting aspects. Now, some noodles are built for you to slurp in. You see what I'm saying? In comparison to pasta, when you try to slurp in a pasta, what happens? It doesn't even slurp in, It becomes like and then the sauce gets on your lips and everything. Like it's harder like that. But then ramen and naengmyeon, then they're easier, which is also why chopstick is held like this, because why? It's easier to lift like this and slurp it in. Or else we would have used fork if we were going to roll it up and put it in our mouth. Now, you have to also understand, in Korea, some people don't like slurping, and we are actually changing in culture in real time from slurping culture to no slurping culture. Isn't that interesting? So even the culture that you might have known like, 10 years ago, this is Korean culture, is changing. There's a whole debate about this in Korea because some people just don't want to hear that sound. They're saying, I get it that this is what we used to do, but shouldn't we change this just because it sounds unsanitary? So now, when you see a Korean person slurping or not slurping, you shouldn't make a judgment too fast, you see? And going a little bit further about the naengmyeon aspect. Naengmyeon is Korean cold noodle. I showed naengmyeon to my friend that was in high school. He was a white guy from Georgia. You know what his first reaction was? Cold noodle? Like, ew, how is noodle cold? It's like ice cold. Like, bro, I'm not eating this. Again, you just have to give it a try. I swear it's good. Just give it a try, alright? Yeah. Don't judge everything, especially like food from American perspective. Like same thing, whenever they see Korea's sashimi, or sashimi is Japanese word, but like raw seafood, things like that. They're like, I can't eat that thing because it's raw. You get the idea. You should try it. It's not as bad as you think. Or seaweed and things like that. So don't judge everything on the standard of your own country. Number 6. This is an extension of Koreaboo, but this is a little bit more specific to K-pop Koreaboos. Have you guys seen the news recently? I think it was Jungkook. There was a fan who stalked Jungkook 22 times and ringed his doorbell 133 times, and she got arrested by the police. And I'm thinking, 133 times? Jesus, like, are you serious? And that's probably very small aspect of big sasengs. So if you're aware of K-pop culture, you probably heard of the word sasengs before, right? Sasengs aren't even fans. These are just straight up stalkers. And although most of you guys here are normal people, most of you guys are fine. Most fans are in fact good people. You know how it's always the very few that ruins the reputation of the entire group? So I personally feel like you should make sure you don't go in that idea of saseng or in that territory, because it ruins the reputation of other people who enjoy and love idol. Because from the external site, it looks like, oh, look at all these K-pop fans and Koreaboos. People who enjoy Korean culture are just a bunch of stalkers. Like, you don't want to set that kind of reputation. And this is not just towards real life stalkings, because some people think, oh, I'm not following them in real life, so it's fine. But like digging up, this is also how idols get caught dating. But you know how they dig up the Instagram picture and they zoom in and they say this phone case and then this phone case matches, so therefore blah blah blah. In my opinion, that's also a little bit too much. You see, you should kinda I don't know, keep a line there. Yes, I get it that you love your idol. I get it, you love your... It's not even idol sometimes, it's actors too. Or they zoom into the spoon and then they find the image and the reflection of the spoon is blah blah blah. or like whether to figure out they're dating or not. Or sometimes another thing is they do that and then they figure out, oh, depending on where they took the picture, their house is located here and blah blah blah. So if I ever travel to Korea, I could go to their house. Like, you know what I mean? So in my opinion, that behavior ruins the reputation of people who just regularly enjoy Korean music. It's you're crossing the line. Yeah. Here, there's also an iffy line where if you know little details that they talked about is cute. As in, sometimes idols talk about, oh, my favorite food is this and my dog's name is blah blah blah. And then if you remember that, then you're just a loving fan who cared. You see what I mean? But I think the issue is when you try to dig up things that they didn't publicly talk about. So obviously the saseng behavior and the stalking, anyone could tell that's a no, right? Like that's 100% a no. But then sort of digging into things that they don't publicly like to talk about, like you digging in and you like making up conspiracies, that I think is a little too much. And that's what gets the title of like, oh, Koreaboo, like, oh, that's Koreaboo. Yeah, as in I feel like the term is more for frowned. Like people who gives frowning, they make you frown if I see that kind of behavior. So yes. And moving on to number 7. All right, this one is a little more tricky, so you have to hear me out, okay? Using translated Korean and acting like you wrote that sentence. Hear me out. There's nothing wrong with you learning Korean. In fact, I want you guys to learn Korean. That's so happy. Literally, Jungkook talked about, can you guys please speak Korean? It's all fine. Even using translator is fine. It's cute. Like you want to communicate in Korean, it's all fine. I feel like this is just, I don't know if anyone else feels this the same way as me, but there's no issue with you using translated language. Whenever I leave comments on certain Japanese artists or non-American artists, I try to translate, or whenever I send DM, I try to translate, because why? They might not speak English. Do you guys agree? You can't just assume the other person speaks English. It's like a good manner for you to send it in translated version. Whenever I work with Japanese artists, then I always send the English version and then I run translation version and put it underneath. Because you putting English just there is like, you have to speak English. You see what I mean? It's rude. So you should put it in both if you want to make sure the other person is understanding. Now, the issue is when you lie and say, I know how to speak Korean, and then you use a translator. Same thing with what we mentioned earlier, but it's the lie. You know why this lie is especially annoying? It's because You could tell. Okay, obviously translating is getting better every day, but even on our live stream, there are people who use translated Korean. You know, here's the issue. Number one, the effort for you to communicate in Korean is cute. The you learning Korean is cute. Number one, context. I'm speaking English and Hyomi's talk to me in English. Then, if you type Korean here, wouldn't that be a little bit out of context? What do you guys think? Don't you think so? Unless they're not fluent in English and they want to communicate with me, so they decide they're all, they only know how to speak Korean because they're from Korea, then it's fine. But it almost feels like you want to show off your Korean. There's nothing wrong with wanting to learn Korean. And if I ask you to use Korean, there's nothing wrong. Again, but it feels like that it's also like a low-key, feels like pretending to be Korean. You know what I mean? Like, it's like a very small nuance things. That, in my opinion, I feel like, oh, that's kind of a Koreaboo thing. Please, I want you guys to learn Korean. I really want to encourage you to Duolingo Korean. I am gonna make more content for you to use Korean, okay? Now, it's guys, it's just very tiny detail. You just have to use it on the context. I don't want this to sound as if I hate people for learning Korean. Alright, next one. In fact, not just me, most Korean people will love you if you learn Korean and try to speak Korean to them. Really. But, again, context. As in, let's say you travel to Korea, you go to a convenience store, you want to buy something, and finally, it's your time to shine. So you speak in Korean. 저 이거 아이스크림 하나 주세요. You can say that and then, oh my gosh, you finally order for the first time, yay. But you live in America and your friend introduced you to another friend. Oh, hi, this is Jason. Jason goes to UCLA. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm from Minnesota, but my parents are from Korea. Oh, 대박. 안녕하세요. Jason 오빠. Like I'm not saying anyone's that bad, but they might just be Korean American. They might not know how to speak Korean. You see what I'm saying? You can't just all of a sudden go off. Just don't go off. Like, hold back. You will have your opportunity to show off your Korean. It's just not the right place. That's just rude. Some level is okay, and I also get this a lot where I go to different restaurant. I literally walk into Uber and then they're like, oh, hi, Hyo-sang? Like, yeah. Oh, 안녕하세요. Fine. That's fine. But like, you know what I mean? You just have to watch out for the nuance. Just be careful a little bit. Yes, okay? Like, imagine how awkward it would be if you go like, oh, 안녕하세요, Jason 오빠. And then they're like, oh, I'm from Minnesota. Like, oh, no. Because not everybody from Korean background knows how to speak Korean. I know how to speak Korean, so it's fine. But doesn't mean other people is able to. Oh. This also ties in with the speaking Korean when you're not in the context. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. What's crazy is I'm calling you out right now, girl. Even right now, there's a person who is typing in Korean when there is no context. And I could tell that is a translated word right there. I'm talking about you. Anyway, let me proceed. Well, sometimes it's funny. So I'm not literally calling out every single time. I'm not going to put you in jail every single time for it. All right. Number 8. Denying your nationality and hating your country because you like Korea, in my opinion, is what makes you Koreaboo. So you liking Korean culture, there's nothing wrong with it. But then sometimes a lot of people like Korea so much that they hate their own country. Like, I wish I wasn't, Mexican. I wish I wasn't Chinese. The whole point is you could enjoy Korea and also love your own country too. Because from a Korean person perspective, we like because you are from that country and you have pride from that country. You see what I'm saying? But so many people are like that. And let me tell you guys an interesting story. Did you know there are same people in Korea? There are guys and girls in Korea who love Japan so much that they hate Korea. I told you guys about this story a few times. So before I was a singer, you know how right now I'm a singer? I used to work as a producer. And I used to be in this group chat with a lot of famous producers. Literally, like including, I should have mentioned a specific idol name, but someone like BTS producer, like you get what I'm saying. I was in a group chat with a lot of famous producers, and there was one guy who joined in, and he was someone who made Japanese music, like anime music. He joined in with his friend. Then he started talking about how Japan's great. And I'm like, okay, a little bit out of context. And then he said, I wish I was born as Japanese. And I'm like, Okay. And then he said, I wish Japan successfully invaded Korea, so I was a Japanese instead of Korean. And I'm like, what? Like, what? What? And like, not only is this a crazy statement, but I'm telling you, well, this person wasn't the fault. I think I could just say this. Blackpink producer was in there. I'm not going to specify the name because I don't want them to get in trouble for this whole talk. Like, I'm not saying they're the one, but like in that group chat, there were like famous people in there and they said that. And you know what happened? Like that group chat blew up and everyone left. Because no one wanted to be associated with this whole thing. You see? You see? Yeah. No, the name drop's fine because there's a lot of producers who work for them. Yeah. But I'm just saying like someone that important in that group chat, and I'm not going to name drop this one because this is actually going to be controversial. That person is still a successful musician. They're still making music right now. I know who they are. But that I'm actually never going to name drop. They're actually more famous than me, in fact. They might be. Actually, no, we might be on the same level. I don't know. But isn't that crazy? So going back, I feel like when you deny your own nationality, I don't actually want you to like Korea by denying your country's nationality. Because, here's the thing guys, I sometimes do understand because there are aspects of Korea that might be better, as in infrastructure or safety or economy or education. There might be an aspect where objectively Korea is better. But I feel like you should have pride from where you're from because that's your identity. What your identity and your pride and nationality is kind of ultimately what makes you beautiful as a person. If you hate your own country, it almost feels like you hate yourself, which I feel like is sometimes the way it works. Is some people don't like themselves and they connect it to their nationality because they don't like the way they look, they don't like the way they are in their life. They're blaming it on their country. Kind of like, you know how some people blame their parents? Like, my life is ruined because of my parents. You know, it's like kind of like same thing. My life is ruined because I'm from, this country. If I was Korean, then I wouldn't have been in all these problems, blah, blah, blah. Can I be honest? If you were born in Korea, you would have been the same people that I just talked about. Like, like these kind of behavior is literally the same all over the world. There are people in Korea who are like honorary American. Believe it or not, you'll be surprised. One side, there's American girls who are like, I hate America. I wish I was Korean. And then you go to Korea, there's like 40-year-old 아저씨s who's like, I'm actually American. Like, I hate Korea. There's 100% people like that. And they like worship American president and stuff like that. It's not a joke. This is surprisingly not a joke. And you know what those people call Korea? There are people in Korea, actually a lot of people in Korea call Korea Hell Joseon. Joseon is the old national country name for Korea, and hell is literal hell. So they're calling the country hell. And some people use derogatory term for Korean people by another Korean person. So I'm not going to say the actual word, but there was a derogatory term that Japanese people used to use when Korea was colonized by Japan. Can you believe there are Korean people who call other Korean people that term? Can you see, like, isn't this crazy? Like, this whole concept is like almost as if you're using a racial slur to your own race, to your own another race. Because why? They hate their country so much. Again, guys, don't hate on your country because people who hate on their country is ultimately just, putting themselves in a funny spot. So, all right. And last one, number 9. I think I skipped one. I don't know which one I skipped. Sorry. Last one, number 9. Packaging your own imagination as Korean culture is Koreaboo behavior. There's so many different things that you could apply this to, but you can't just come up with something and say, oh, that's how they do it in Korea. Actually, am I calling myself out? No, but when I say this stuff, it's actually true. They do things like that in Korea. No, but like I'm not making it up. I'm not lying. Okay, no, sometimes I do lie. But yes, you can't just make up information and then say that's how you do it in Korea. Oh, I think actually, let me not talk about this. It's okay. In Korea, you could cancel your own words. Yeah, guys, that's the way it works in Korea, okay? Like in Korea, we put water on pizza. All right, believe me, I'm from there. Believe me. Yeah. Oh, apparently I heard in Korea, people press like and subscribe to a video and also donate money to live streamers. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm joking. All right, but yes, those were the few things. Before ending the video, I just want to clarify just one more time because I get this question asked a lot, like Hyosan, would you marry a Koreaboo? Blah blah blah. I don't think liking Korean culture is Koreaboo. Did you guys see where all the points that we made had in common from today? It was nothing about loving Korea or listening to Korean music that makes you Koreaboo or not. It was what? It was about reading context, speaking out of context, reading the room, making sure other people's feelings aren't awkward when you speak. It's like those things, like respecting your country, respecting other people's country. You know what the conclusion is? What makes you a Koreaboo is not Korea. Is your social in adaptability, your social skills lacking that makes you a Koreaboo. It could have been any other country. So I don't want you guys to blame it on the fact that, oh, because I like Korean culture, people call me Koreaboo. Nah. By the way, I still have Korean citizenship. I probably will keep it. I can't go to military with the spine. Why is this American guy talking about Korea too much? Alright everybody. Anyway, thank you everyone for listening today. Hope you guys didn't get any misunderstanding. Hope this cleared up my misunderstanding. Hope this doesn't scare any hyomis from loving more Korea more. I'm gonna make more Korean learning content. It's just that this is naturally going to drag more people who are gonna do things that I just mentioned. Do you see where I'm coming from? We're gonna get those hyomis. We're gonna get those people in the comment section. And I'm just telling you, I'm not gonna like it. So just make sure you read the context, alright? Alright, I love you guys. Thank you so much for listening today.